I raise these matters because
Sorry, General, just before you move on, when you say it has been alleged, who alleges this?
Firstly, I think we had a witness here that spoke about certain senior managers who receive BBL. And then in my case, what I said, where I said that because I work with her every day, I had to give her off. Sometimes because she could not sit, even in the car, even in the office, because she could not work. She had to always, at all times, be standing the whole day because she was not supposed to sit. And I even advised her to work from home. So as to the question as to who alleges, sometimes I shouldn't at this point in time maybe disclose who gave me the information, but I am able to give to the commission if I have to give. I'm forced to give it to the commission because sometimes people's lives could be in danger as well.
Well, I think you should provide to us where you get information from. Otherwise, it just is this allegation that's written in the passive tense. It has been alleged. So I would ask that you do give us that information. You can give it to us during the adjournment, if you wish.
Yes, may I come back maybe the next morning with that response, Chair, so that I consult extensively in that regard.
Continue.
I raise these matters because if established, they would raise serious concerns relating to conflict of interest, disclosure obligations, and the integrity of governance and oversight mechanism within the SAPS. I accordingly place these matters before the Commission for consideration insofar as they may be relevant to its mandate to examine ethical governance, accountability, and the effectiveness of internal safeguards within the senior leadership of the SAPS. The National Commissioner's leadership style. The National Commissioner's approach to conflict resolution has on a number of occasions reflected inconsistency and apparent partiality, particularly in matters involving General Khumalo and myself. Although the National Commissioner acknowledged my concerns regarding being undermined and bypassed by General Khumalo, his interventions were largely limited and reactive rather than proactive or corrective. In one instance, I was advised that certain issues should not be raised publicly or in the presence of junior officials. While this guidance is understandable from the perspective of maintaining hierarchy and discipline, its practical effect was that the conduct complained of was not addressed, thereby allowing the situation to persist without consequences. The National Commissioner's approach in these circumstances appeared to have the preservation of long-standing personal relationship over the consistent enforcement of accountability, proper governance, and command discipline. During a visit to Cape Town, the National Commissioner convened a private meeting with the Provincial Commissioner of Crime Intelligence from the Free State. It was the Provincial Commissioner, and then it was the Provincial Commissioner of Free State, and then the Provincial Head of Crime Intelligence, and several senior crime intelligence officials. Despite my position as the Deputy National Commissioner responsible for crime intelligence, and notwithstanding that operational oversight of these matters fell squarely within my mandate, I was neither invited nor informed of this meeting. The meeting proceeded for approximately an hour in my absence. This exclusion had the effect of undermining my authority and bypassing established oversight and command structures. It further illustrates a pattern in which informal and decision-making were centralized, while institutionally mandated oversight roles were marginalized to the detriment of transparent, accountable, and effective governance within South African Police Service.
You said Informal, I think it's information. 3 lines from the top, 3 lines from the bottom.
Which information and decision-making were centralized while institutionally mandated oversight roles were marginalized to the detriment of transparent, accountable, and effective governance within South African Police Service. A further concerning example of inappropriate conduct relates to the National Commissioner's engagement with my former wife, is not known and is not heard by the nation as it's supposed to be, because I know that it is not true and I have evidence. Somebody spoke about the BBL. And I know Commissioner Kumalo was also asking questions about the BBL. She reported to me she was she could not sit in the car, she was lying in the car because she had to spend over 3 months without sitting.
Who's she?
General Sintumule. Now, I'm just saying, there's a whole lot of things that one must talk to as we go along. It's a lot.
Yes,
Chair, may I?
General, earlier I said, the idea is not to gag you on matters that bear relevance to what the Commission is investigating, especially matters of criminality. That's the last thing we would want to do. But I am saying, and you say that you want the nation to know your story. You have told your story. Yes, you may have other detail. In the 90 pages of your statement, which, as I said, is one of the longest we have had, you have told your story, and you are going to go through that entire statement, and the nation will hear what you have to say. I'm making a simple point, and it is this. We listen to you, you tell us about matters of criminality, and then you move on to other issues, and these are not in your statement. You move on to other issues, one example being the question of the loads and loads of files, about which you raised a complaint. These have been kept for more than 3 months. Files should not be kept for this long. And I ask you, is that not an HR matter? We are going, if you have all of these stories which are not in your statement, we are going to be engaging on the relevance of some of those stories, and we are going to waste time in the process. I make a simple suggestion to you, which I also make to Ms. Killian, your advocate. And I say, please confer with Ms. Killian. Ms. Killian, as your legal advisor, will advise you which ones of those matters are relevant and should therefore be raised with the Commission. She will also even advise you whether the best way of doing that is by way of a supplementary statement or by way of you giving testimony here about them. I see no unfairness at all in that.
Thank you very much,
I see no unfairness at all.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
I'll proceed, Chair.
Please.
Paragraph, I have to now go to command and control and failures evidential from the National Commissioner's testimony. In this section of the affidavit, I deal with the overarching tenor of the testimony before the Commission, with particular reference to the evidence of the National Commissioner and to a lesser extent that of General Mkhwanazi. The National Commissioner's testimony contained nuanced inconsistencies, which raises legitimate questions regarding the effectiveness of his leadership. By way of example, his version reflects a situation in which 2 senior officials were permitted to operate under contradictory instructions without clarity or coordination at the level of National Commissioner. Such contradictory direction is indicative of ineffective command and control, creates confusion within the organization, undermines operational efficiency, and exposes the institution to unnecessary risk. Now, I make a note here that says, please refer to the Portfolio Committee's chair statement, but I'll proceed with the statement. What is particularly remarkable is the vagueness of the National Commissioner's testimony regarding the steps he took once he became aware that the docket had been moved to head office when questioned by Commissioner Baloyi on the action he took in response to this development. It was expressly put to him that I reported to him and that he was my superior, yet despite this knowledge, the National Commissioner was unable to articulate any decisive action that he took to address what he now characterized as serious misconduct. Then I also read 235 and 236 and 237. It was further put to him that he knew there was no approved plan authorizing the relocation of the dockets, and when asked General Masemola what he did about this, his response was, and I quote, "At some point I did talk to him, that I hear rumors that dockets are here. Remember the agreement was dockets go to province, which you disprove, that they go to station of origin. So there cannot be dockets that come to this head office. So make sure that you do likewise. There should not be dockets that is here." I'm continuing with the statement, but I wanted to just quickly point out that the Commissioner also says that they said docket should go to province. He agrees that the docket had to go to province. It is extraordinary that this constituted the response of the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service. General Masemola has repeatedly asserted that my purported instruction to have the dockets brought to head office was highly irregular and improper. Yet, when confronted with precisely the same circumstances he now elevates as a grave irregularity, the extent of his intervention was limited to vague and informal remarks about rumors rather than any decisive or corrective action. Considering the fact that General Sintumula said, I did inform the National Commissioner, so it's not rumors, he was told by General Sintumula. I'm proceeding. Such a response is wholly inconsistent with the seriousness he claims to attach to the matter. His failure to act in the face of what he alleges was a serious procedural impropriety fundamentally undermines the credibility of his allegations against me and reflect a concerning abdication of leadership responsibilities at a critical juncture. This is, in my view, calls into question the sudden outrage directed at my purported conduct and suggests an after-the-fact reconstruction of events rather than a genuine concern. The stance now advanced by the National Commissioner bears no resemblance to his previous conduct and appears instead to have emerged only once there was heightened national scrutiny and criticism following the press briefing delivered by General Mkhwanazi. It is significant that at a time when he claims to have held grave reservations about the handling of the dockets and the disbandment implementation plan, he neither actively intervened to hold the purported irregular conduct nor took any formal steps to reprimand me or take corrective action. His current assertion must therefore be understood within the context in which they arise. They are calculated to create distance between himself and operational decisions made under his oversight and to deflect responsibility at a moment when public attention has intensified. Such conduct creates the distinct impression that the narrative now advanced is shaped less by an accurate recollection of events and more by a desire to protect his own position in response to external criticism. These inconsistencies warrant a cautious approach by the Commission in assessing the credibility of the evidence and his attempt to attribute impropriety to my actions. Of equal concern is the National Commissioner's testimony regarding the events surrounding the attempted return of the dockets to KwaZulu-Natal. He testified that I was not supposed to remove the dockets from the province without knowledge of the provincial commissioner. Yet, despite this alleged impropriety, he stated that I should finish what I started and ensure that the dockets were returned in the same way that I had taken them. Just to remind the commissioners that considering the fact that they were brought by General Khumalo and he sent Sergeant Khumalo. They were brought by CI to head office, not by me. It devised logic that the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service would respond in such a manner. Even if one were to assume, for argument's sake, that he was genuinely dissatisfied with the relocation of the dockets to head office, his response upon learning of the failed effort to return them to KwaZulu-Natal and the reasons therefore ought to have been to intervene decisively. One would reasonably expect the National Commissioner, as the ultimate custodian of command and control, to take charge of the situation, to engage directly with General Mkhwanazi, and to issue clear formal directives to ensure that the dockets were returned through proper channels. Instead, his purported instructions suggest abdication of responsibility and a lack of meaningful leadership involvement in an operational matter he now portrays as critical. His reaction in this irreconcilable with the seriousness he attributes to the issue and raises material questions about the reliability of his testimony and the adequacy of his oversight in the circumstances. Importantly, this conduct demonstrates a leader who was not exercising effective control over a matter falling squarely within his responsibility as National Commissioner. It is also noteworthy that the National Commissioner claims that he only became aware in early May that the 121 dockets classified as under investigation by the PKTT had been removed from the PKTT and handed over to General Sintumule, an event he characterized as yet another surprise. It is with respect remarkable that a general of his standing who attended the very meetings at which the operational implementation of the disestablishment plan was discussed, could repeatedly profess surprise at developments arising from decisions in whose formulation and oversight he was directly involved. It is equally difficult to accept this aspect of his version. On his own account, he was working closely with General Khumalo in putting together the phased-out disestablishment plan. It was General Khumalo who, on the 28th of April, handed the case dockets to General Sintumule. Yet the National Commissioner would have the Commission accept that General Khumalo, who was operating in close coordination and proximity with him throughout his process, did not inform him. On the very day that the docket had been handed over, that proposition is quite simply implausible. Now I'm moving to allegations of a potentially corrupt relationship with Brown Mokgotsi. I know Brown Mokgotsi as an activist based in the Northwest province. During or about December 2024, Mokgotsi began contacting me, during which communications, he warned me that certain individuals were purportedly attempting to have me removed from SAPS. He further informed me that false information was being circulated about me. I met Mokgotsi for the first time in January 2025 when I was in Cape Town, or about the 8th. Now, here in the statement, it says about the 8th to attend the African National Congress Gala Dinner event. It was an error here because I was there on official duties, not attending the gala dinner. I was not even at the gala dinner myself, so I think it was just a unfortunate sentence how it was crafted here by maybe my lawyer.
So you're wishing to amend,
To amend
your paragraph 250?
Yes, I never attend the gala dinner. I don't attend the gala dinner. I was there at January 8, as the management of the police will be there to manage the big event that takes place.
Yes, Mr. Sim.
Sorry, I just want to understand, when in January 2025 were you in Cape Town? What dates?
It is somewhere from the 5th until the 12th. I think we've got paperwork around that that shows the.
Okay, so you were there from 5 to 12. You can provide us with that paperwork.
I have it. You'll get it over
Okay.
lunch.
5 to 12 January 2025. And for what purpose were you there?
It is meetings with the minister, including also running over to January 8 and beyond.
What do you mean by running over to January 8?
We went there to Cape Town. The whole management of the police was in Cape Town because if there's going to be a big event, a major event, there will be a deployment in that specific province. And then some of the meetings and operations will be held from that particular province where there's going to be a major event.
Did you attend the ANC gala dinner?
No.
Okay.
It's what I'm trying to correct.
Thanks.
So would it be accurate to record it like this? I met Mokgotsi for the first time in January 2025 when I was in Cape Town from 5 to 12 January 2025 on official business for meetings with the minister. I did not attend the ANC Gala Dinner event.
Yes, the only correction or thing that may change, Chair, will be the date. I do have it. Last night I looked at it, I've got it. So I will make it available, including the signatures of the National Commission that authorized me to go there and the hotel bookings. I've got it. So I was just saying this was a typo, that it was at the gala dinner. I haven't been at the gala dinner. So subsequent to that meeting, Mokgotsi and I met on a couple of occasions in Johannesburg. When I say on a couple of occasions, it's 2 times.
Sorry, General. Sorry to interrupt you. I was going to leave it for later, but I actually think I should ask you this now because it is to clarify your own statement. And that when you say you met him for the first time in January, do you remember the date on which you met him? Because initially when I read the statement, I thought it was around the 8th, but it's not clear to me now.
No.
So when did you meet him?
No, around the 8th. Around the 8th, it was the January 8th statement, somewhere there. But I'm not sure whether it may have been on the 8th exactly, because remember sometimes the 8th becomes on a Wednesday or Thursday, but you find that then the event will be on a Saturday. So, but it was around that. So I have, let me provide the paperwork, but I met him around that morning before I left, because it was the first time I was going to meet him or see him What happened, see, I tend now to explain, and I
Ms.
don't want to
Okay.
explain.
Ms.
Okay, I
Hassan,
just-
sorry. Is it not enough if we just proceed on the basis that it was on one of the days when he was in Cape Town?
That's fine, Chair. I just wanted to know whether there
Yes,
was a
yes.
date that
All right, all
the
right.
witness could give us. If
yeah,
not, we
yeah.
will deal with it later.
I'm saying this because I see that
Yes.
the general is not able to
Yes.
give us a specific date, yeah.
I accept that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can proceed with your statement.
On the occasions where I met Mohotsi, we did not discuss any official policing business, nor did we discuss any operational, investigative or intelligence-related matters pertaining to the SAPS. Our interactions were not of an official nature, nor did they involve the exercise of any police function, the exchange of confidential information, or any discussion related to my official duties, responsibilities. But safe to say that I did explain that mostly when I met Mohotsi, he informed me about the danger that I'm facing, be careful, you are being investigated yourself. And there's a part that I didn't want to explain, Chair, that looks like, for instance, or maybe I'll inform the evidence at the later stage, because it was not my place to say 1, 2. I can only end it here and say this is where I know him. And then the other part I'll explain to the evidence leader, and then the commissioners will say, no, you can say it. Significantly, at no stage has Mohotsi asked or suggested or attempted to arrange for me to meet Matlala. The inquiry docket and search and seizure warrant.
General, maybe before you proceed there, in that paragraph 250, that very last line where you say, subsequent to that meeting, Mohotsi and I met on a couple of occasions in Johannesburg. Couple here meaning twice?
Two
or
times.
It's just informal? Twice.
Two
Only
times.
Twice. Okay, thank you.
The inquiry docket and search and seizure warrant. On 7 July 2025, an inquiry docket PHQ 2/07/2025 was opened to investigate allegations arising from a media briefing by General Mkhwanazi concerning the disbandment of the PKTT, with Brigadier Sipoku Nene appointed as the investigating officer. On or about 25th of August 2025, Brigadier Kunene launched an ex parte application in terms of Section 29, subsection 1A of the Cybercrime Act for the issuing of a search, access and seizure warrant. That application identified me and 3 others as suspects in respect of offenses including defeating or obstructing the course of justice, fraud, corruption under the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, and contravention of the Powers and Privileges and Immunities of Parliament Act. Pursuant to that application, Mudau Judge J granted an order on 25th of August 2025 authorizing the search and seizure of 2 iPhone devices belonging to Matlala. On 8 October 2025, Mudau J granted a further order ostensibly based on the same ex parte application, authorizing a separate warrant, 1, directed at me alone. Warrant 1 authorized the search and the search, access, seizure of electronic communications linked to my email account and was executed on 9 October 2025 by members of South African Police Service, including Brigadier Kunene. A copy of warrant One is attached here to marked SS35. During the execution of the warrant, my laptop and 4 mobile phones were seized, as well as devices belonging to my, here is written to my wife, children, and my protectors. I want to correct
Yes, General.
that my wife's device was not taken because she was not around. My children, they just looked into their phones and left them. They went through them to see what is inside, and they left the one for the children. So it's something that just needed to be corrected. And
So should it read, my laptop and 4 mobile phones were seized, as well as devices belonging to my protectors?
Yes. Now, I don't know somewhere
But does the rest of that sentence still hold true?
it will be true. Because even for the protectors, they took their cell phones as well. So I don't know if it's, I will read. Notwithstanding that several of those devices were not authorized by the warrant, a further mobile phone was seized from me on 17 October 2025 when I came back from ad hoc committee. On or about 21st October 2025, a letter of demand was addressed on my behalf to Brigadier Kunene and the National Commissioner detailing the defects in the warrant 1, recording the unlawfulness of the search and seizure, and demanding the immediate return of the seizure items. No response was received. A copy of this letter of demand is attached here to marked as SS36. I must say, till to date, I still don't have my devices, and some of the information that I needed was in the devices I don't have. On the 2nd of December 2025, my attorneys were served with a further search, access, and seizure warrant, warrant 2, authorized on 1 December 2025 by Mudau J, pursuant to a second ex parte application launched by Brigadier Kunene under the same case number. Upon consideration of that application, it is apparent that the founding affidavit is, in all material respect, a duplication of the affidavit used in the first ex parte application, save that the number of alleged suspects was increased without explanation and additional individuals were authorized to participate in the search and seizure operation. Now, on 8 December 2025, I launched an application for the rescission of the order granted ex parte by the Honorable Mudau J on 1st December 2025 on the basis that the resort to an ex parte procedure, particularly in respect of the second ex parte application, was improper, unjustified, and constituted an abuse of process designed to obtain intrusive relief without proper notice or judicial scrutiny. This application is still pending. Chair, what I wanted to,
Sorry, General.
What I wanted to point out, Chair.
Sorry, just a moment, General. Chair, it's just past 11. I wasn't sure whether we should just continue to 11:15 or take a break.
Thank you, Ms. Hassim. Let's just listen to what the General wants to point out, and then we'll take the break.
The issue of in the previous paragraph that I just read, the issue of the additional non-subs individuals were authorized to participate in the search and seizure operation. Something that I just want to confirm again and ascertain with my legal team when I'm back.
We'll take the adjournment at this stage, but we would like to see the evidence leaders and the legal representatives outside right away, please. We'll resume at, did I say, at 12:30. Let's adjourn.